Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we are live. I'm a little late to setting things up. Let me check my audio stream real quick. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. That should be better already. Check, check. Noah, check. 1, 2. That looks good. All right. Welcome, everybody. Let's check the comments. We'll see who's in the stream. We got Digibot Just Nibble. Captain Weber's in the house. We got a hot topic today. Today is a follow-up topic from yesterday because yesterday's topic is so damn hot. Yesterday's topic, today's topic, and frankly, liquidity and interoperability, they all kind of gel together into this large system, this large network of functionality. And really what this system is the same damn system we use on a daily basis. You go to an ATM, they're providing you liquidity. And frankly, that is so old. You're pulling paper out of a machine representing value that you have stored in the bank, and the bank doesn't even have your value because it's a fractional reserve bank in the first place. So where does it all come from? It all comes from a printer at the Treasury. What a ridiculous system. So these boys in the crypto space are building literally a new system. Craig's in the house, man. Your TA's on point too, bro. Good stuff. Wilkie, what's up? Welcome. Let's take a look at what is going on. I want to take a look at Bancor and Kyber real quick. So obviously the hot stuff is Ren, and that's really the topic that we're going to talk about today. And I got a bunch of tabs up at the top for the other blockchains, the other ecosystems, but we'll get there. So Bancor, I think, is just ready to rip. So let's take a look. Let's zoom out a little bit. I want to look at the bigger picture of what's been playing out over the last couple of weeks. So we had this large ascending channel, which produced a almost 37% drawdown. And this was the base. And literally, it only hit it just once. And, you know, this is drawn, obviously, I think, at a 15, 30-minute time frame. So it never really hit it on the 4-hour. So that's why there's this little gap here. It was about a 40%, 37% drawdown. Only hit it once. Pulled back up. And this was pretty much a double top. But check it out. This is a fat cup. And then you have a handle. So this was a fat cup and handle. And then you broke through. So look, you broke support, you hit resistance, you broke through resistance, and now resistance has flipped support. So these are all wonderful signs that this is a great support level. And to top it all off, if you zoom in on the shorter time frames, this is a fat symmetric triangle. And you look how gorgeous this looks in the shorter time frames with all the detail. Cup, handle. And some would even say that this is a bit of a cup and handle also. So you got literally a cup, a handle, a cup, a handle. Something like that. Look, there's a little cup, a little handle action. Ooh, this is beautiful. I mean, there's so much confluence in this chart. We got a bullish pattern for a month or two. Then you got firm support. The bullish rip to the upside. It didn't even test support on the dip to the downside. It broke through resistance. It turned resistance into support. And now we're in a bullish symmetric triangle. Oh, man. So what do you got? Worst case, this rips to the downside and it hits support. They got hit twice. I'd set a stop loss maybe at what, 1600, call it a day. This isn't so that you protect your gains, as I always say. So this is why you got to have the chart up. But look, this is about to rip through to the upside already. Real time. You looking real time at the rip to the upside. Yeah, it's drawn pretty good. Hey, look at that. How about that? How about that real time rip to the upside? What a call right there. Look at that beauty. Is that a breakout or what? Watch. This is by the time this video is done, you're going to see that's at 17,773. Maybe. We'll see. But look at the Stoke. You got plenty of room to run. This is a breakout in progress, possibly. Actually, this is a breakout in progress. But how far it runs, because we've seen a lot of breaks to the upside go horizontal for a period of time. We'll see. Maybe this will be a nice vertical pop. I mean, look at that MACD. Clear breakout. How about that? Craig says, thanks is very mild. TA light, if you will. Now your TA is very observant, which is good. And here, look at the short term. Look how it pops down real quick. Let's see what pops in a couple minutes. Let's cycle over to Kyber real quick. So Kyber was so cool about this chart. If you pull out to the 4 hour, I mean, look at all this price appreciation that happened since really the beginning of the year. I mean, this started in February. Started at the beginning of the year, I'd say. Jesus, a huge amount of price appreciation. This is a double bottom right here. Whatever this is just these are massive rips to the upside. Hundreds of percent gains. And then to top it all off, look at the support line. Look at the support line drawn all the way across. So right now it's sitting so firmly on the support line, and this was a massive support back in 2018, a double bottom massive support. This is clearly at the end of the bull market, so the massive support did a rip to the upside, couldn't break a newer higher high, and it fell down because it was a bear market. It was the creation of the bear market, which lasted years. And the support fell right through support and turned support somewhat into resistance. This is obviously short and short. But here you go. Now you got resistance, flip support, because here's where it broke through resistance, and now it's sitting firmly on multi-year resistance as support. Now I don't have much to show with regard to any trend formation it's currently producing. Uh, Maybe a descending triangle of sorts, but that would be a little counter confluence. I mean, so much bullish confluence here. This is the same thing that you do with Bancor. You have a position, and if it falls through, but how is this going to fall through? Look, this is so oversold on the 30-minute. Let's take a look at I bet you on the daily. Look at the daily. It says so oversold. This is so oversold on the daily. Look at the weekly. The weekly started pulling back. Look at that. We're about to be oversold on the weekly. Oh, if this hits oversold territory on the weekly and we're still straddling the support line, oh my. Oh, I get a little goosebumps looking at this beautiful chart. What a gorgeous chart. And then Ren. So Ren, people see this explosion and they're like, oh, I want a piece of that. I mean, what was it? How big was this? Let's take a look real quick. Boop. Price range. Yes, give or take. I mean, this is a 50% rip to the upside. So here's the problem. Especially everyone that hears me speaking, about 18 people on right now, but more on the Twitter channel. This is the last thing you want to buy. You don't buy this. This is not what you buy. You're seeing this rip, and this is the first thing like someone that doesn't have any experience is going to want to buy. But this is not what you buy. This is the anti-buy. This is where someone with the good money who's taking profits here, is taking profits at the top, and probably maybe on the dip they bought a little bit, but I wouldn't have. And frankly, what's beautiful about the dark nodes is you're forced to just sit back and do nothing. I'm forced to do nothing. I can't do anything. I can't even liquidate my position. If I unbonded my dark node, it would take 2 months to get access to my Ren. So I got nothing to do but sit back and watch hundreds of percent gains roll in. So that's so unfortunate, I know. This is just a heck of a chart. A 50% rip to the upside. You don't see 50% rips to the upside like this often. So we'll see how far the drawdown is. But this is not where you buy. If you want a position, you buy Kyber and sit on it and watch the downside. Watch 1,100. 1,200. If it hits 1,200, yeah, look, if it hits lower than its previous bottoms and you start to see downward momentum, if you see a lower high and the start the formation of a bear trend, lower highs and lower lows, you exit the position. And this is how you play it. This is how you do it. You don't buy something that is ripping like this. Never, ever, ever. You buy something. Oh, look at this score. This is what you buy. Buy here. This is a perfect breakout. Buy Bancor, and the worst it's going to do is fall back into the trend. And I wish I had Digibyte up. That's a perfect example. Hey, let's see if I can pull that up real quick. This is gold. No, I like my gold chart up. Let's get Digibyte up. Let's put it right next to Bancor. Get out of here. Get out of here. TGB, BTC on the tracks. 3 minute. I don't want no 3 minute chart. Here, look at this. So look at this. Look at Bancor. About the rip to the upside. I mean, obviously this is more towards the end of the triangle. So here, flip again. Break to the upside. Digibyte broke to the upside and it fell back into the trend. And look how gorgeous this chart is on Digibyte. This is such a cool chart. A triple hit on support, a double hit on resistance after it broke out and fell back into the trend. This is such a cool chart that's going on with Digibyte right now. Digi. Look at this beauty. Dating back April, May, June, July, 3 months, 3+ months. We're in a fat symmetric triangle. I mean, if this smells like anything like the pressure building with Bitcoin, this is it. This is a serious symmetric triangle. All right. Be smart. Protect your gains. Watch the downside. If it starts to print lower lows, lower highs, you exit the position. But this is where you buy. It goes up, and look, you buy it here, and you set a stop loss. You know, like a 17434. You watch re-entry into the triangle, and you liquidate. You get out. Maybe you lose 5-10%, but that's the game, because then it's probably going to fall down. It's going to fall down. Maybe it'll hit support. If it hits support, you're back in the formation. You'll get back up to resistance. So a good here. Look, you buy here if it falls back into the triangle. If it falls back to resistance and falls back to support, this is a great buy. If you see a little bit of a bounce off the red line, that's where you buy. And then maybe it breaks out, maybe it doesn't, but it's going to go boop 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 boop. And frankly, I think this is just going to go right here. Breakout in progress. Let's see how far it goes, because obviously you zoom out a little bit. We want it to hit its previous high, and that's basically a higher high. So that's what we're looking for, because we obviously have some higher highs back here when we were in the ascending channel. Interesting. All right, so gold is ripping higher. Oh my God, 19,997 on spot. Oh my God. It's about to be $2,000 spot price on gold. So this is basically inverse of what's going on in the dollar. And this just hit a double top. This is more or less a double top, give or take. And if you, let's take a look. Let's see how they, look at the Stoke. Look at the resistance. Look at the guppy resistance. This thing is going to bounce right off it, and it's going to print the new lower low, lower high. This is such a bearish looking chart. And look, even this is bearish. Look at the Stoke. The Stoke looks like it's ready to rip upward, but look at the resistance. It's going to run smack into that resistance about the time the Stoke is out of jet fuel. And that's exactly, this is the type of chart that bounces right off the resistance. It doesn't have the juice to punch through at all. So this is the inverse gold. This is inverse gold. This is inverse Bitcoin. When you see the DXY rip to the downside, that's when you see Bitcoin and gold rip to the upside. And this thing, 997, it was a 75, 65 yesterday, give or take. This is, in gold terms, a rip to the upside. You don't see $30 rips in gold. You don't see this. This is not something you see. Last time we saw this was in 11. I mean, look at this. 9 years. We don't see price action like this. This is, look at the maybe you got a little mini rip here back in 16, but this is a big rip. The only thing that looks comparable to this rip is back in 11. August 11th. August of 11. Anyway, let's look at the comments. They make anything? Oh boy, you make him feel like spending some money. No, listen, it's not about spending money, because it's about allocating value. It's about allocating value. Right now, you are invested in dollars because you believe so much that the dollar is going to go to the moon. The dollar is going to make you money. The dollar is going to grow in value. You're going to have $10 today, and all of a sudden, your $10 is going to be worth $100 tomorrow. That sounds like the worst investment I've ever heard. Dollars the worst investment. Who in their right mind holds dollars? Now, bear in mind, there's a great reason to hold dollars because every schmuck out there accepts it as payment. You go into a store, the dumbass takes dollars. Nobody wants to hold dollars, but these stores take dollars. It's crazy. So I'm going to sure as hell give them dollars. I'm not going to give them the stuff that actually has value, that's going to appreciate in value. No, I'm going to give them the stupid dollars. So you hold on to some dollars, you throw it in a bank account that gives you 0% interest, and you use that to pay your bills. And I'm like, hey, dumbass, you want to take dollars? Great, here's the stupid dollars. I'm sure as hell not going to give you crypto or Bitcoin. Oh, anyway. So that's the whole spending money thing. What is money? Money is not dollars. Dollars is money because money is a means of exchange and a means of storing value. So dollars aren't money. Dollars do not meet the definition of money, period. They do not retain value. They lose value. They are not money. Dollars are not money. Do I have to say it again? Yes, dollars are not money. How about them apples for you? In U.S., where are good places to buy Ren or Bancor? 1inch dot exchange. Here, 1inch dot exchange. You could use this globally. Anywhere you are in the world, you could use 1inch dot exchange to buy Ren or Bancor or probably dozens, if not hundreds, of other assets at this point. And now that we're halfway done with this video, let's talk briefly about Ren. And what the heck is going on with this Ren fire? Ren is on fire because it is a custodian. It literally is just a place that holds stuff. It holds assets, or it holds really the keys to assets. And the reason it's a systemic disruption, comparable, if not more so, than Link, because it's a decentralized custodian. It's a custodian where anyone who wants to can participate in the process of custody. If you want, you can pony up the bucks and purchase the bond requirements for a Ren dark node, and you can create a server that participates in the dark node, decentralized dark node network. And you will be providing functional, decentralized custodianship of, at this point, Bitcoin private keys. You got BCH private keys and Zcash private keys. Now I see good purpose for Zcash private keys in maybe you swap for RenZC and then you're able to put it through the privacy component of Zcash. But frankly, I see much more potential for Ren Zcoin. Because Zcash is not the most secure of assets as compared to Zcoin. Zcoin has immense academic publication with regard to its technology. But anyway, point being is Ren is a decentralized custodian which says, I have an asset on Ethereum. Or let's say I have an asset on UTXO. This is the perfect example because this is the status quo. I have a UTXO asset. I have a Bitcoin asset. I have a half a Bitcoin, a tenth of a Bitcoin. I have 1 Bitcoin. I have 10 Bitcoin, whatever the heck you have. And let's say you give that to Ren. And Ren says, the dark node says, okay, I'm going to take this. Here, in exchange for you giving me this 10 Bitcoin, I'm going to give you this key. Here, buddy, here's a key instead of your 10 Bitcoin. And I'm like, oh, thank you very much, RenVM. Thank you, Dark Node. Thank you for my key. Here's 10 Bitcoin. Thank you for my key. And I could use this key to create 10 Ren BTCs. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I got 10 Ren BTCs instead of my 10 Bitcoin. And that's what RenVM does. That's what the Dark Node network does. And the same thing works on every other chain. It works on Elrond, it'll work on Cosmos, it'll work on Polkadot, it'll work on Cardano, it'll work on everything. So clearly there's infrastructure that's needed. So, I mean, for Cardano, there's no smart contract infrastructure at all currently. They barely just released the decentralization component, which is pretty cool. It's probably something to look into, but, kind of chicken and the egg. Other ecosystems getting off the ground, because right now there's clearly no development at all on Cardano because there's no smart contracts to develop with. But it could be big. I mean, Polkadot's growing. There's a lot of developers. Cosmos is on fire with China. China's focusing on Cosmos. It's huge. And Elrond looks pretty cool. I mean, they're all very comparable. They're all going for like a proof of stake type implementation with validators and delegators. That's actually quite interesting that all of them are doing that. It's all validators and other people being able to delegate to validators. It's the same exact pattern for every single alternative Ethereum ecosystem. Dave, let's take a look at the comments. Captain Weber says my ledger is not connecting to 1inch. Have you ever had this problem? Yeah, go through MetaMask. Install MetaMask. You'll find it in the Chrome plugin store, and you're able to connect your ledger through MetaMask. Otherwise, you're talking about very often is the USB cable. Get a new USB cable. I promise it happens. Um, Very common. And um, I just heard myself sound like Donald Trump. Like very common. It's very common. Very common USB. Like it's going to be big. It's going to be very big. Big news. USB cables. Anyway, so yeah, swap out the USB, restart the browser, maybe not really restart the computer, but and go through MetaMask. MetaMask tends to be more reliable, or the inverse. Who knows? The point is, you're in a position where you just need to finagle the shit out of it. Dave says in the garage question regarding Ren. Once all masternodes are taken, will they themselves have value? Oh my God, they're not going to be taken. There's a billion Ren, and there's 10,000 maximum dark nodes, and there's about was it 1,700? No, 1,170 dark nodes. I could look it up. I'm not going to, but there's a little over 10% of the potential dark nodes. They're not going to all be taken because that's not the way everyone operates. There's plenty of people out there that operate on pure speculation and they just want to watch the price go up. They sell when the price is up and they produce gains. They produce returns. So that will always be the case. I mean, listen, the value of Ren is not in the value of Ren. It's not in the dark node. It's in the the volume of transactions that are going through the dark nodes, the minting and the burning of assets. That's where all the money is. That's where the potential for the investment is. Has nothing to do with the value of Ren. If Ren went to $1 million, I don't think I'd sell. Because if the Ren went to $1 million, do you have any idea what the volume will be? So check it out. Let me go here. Let me go to my dark node key. I go to connect. I click MetaMask. And here's my dark nodes. They're actually online. And here's the network. If this said a billion, let's say there's been 100 million, give or take, at the current price of Bitcoin. If there's sort of a billion, that means all the money that's gone through, I'd have about 10 times the revenue. And how much revenue do I have? So $60 is owed to me, another about 80. So if there's $1 billion a day in revenue going in and out, minting, burning, whatever it may be. And what's a billion? The Bitcoin's at 200 billion. $1 billion a day going in and out of RenVM. This one dark node would produce $800 a day, and 3 dark nodes would be $2,400 a day. And that's if there's only 1 billion, 10 times what has gone through thus far. $1 billion a day, and there's over $200 billion in Bitcoin. So we're talking about 0.5%. So if 0.5% of Bitcoin flows through, and Bitcoin wants to operate on Ethereum, Bitcoin wants to operate on Polkadot, Bitcoin wants to operate on Cosmos, or vice versa, or whatever. And that's the whole point. Ren facilitates the interoperability. It takes custody and produces a tokenized representation of the asset on another platform. This dark node would be producing $800 a day. And maybe they'll drop the minting fee to drop it to 0.05, and that would be $400 a day per dark node. Hey, listen, I'm not going to be complaining at the $1,200 a day from 3 virtual machines that are operating on a cloud service. When will RenDGB be released? Soon enough, probably in the next couple of months. Listen, every UTXO asset is going to have some sort of tokenized representation. And frankly, it goes both ways. Why would if there's a Polkadot asset that I want to throw into an Aave or a Maker and they accept it, that's the way this is going to work. We're talking Ren supports the cross-platform functionality or cross-platform traversal of assets. Uh, there was a Disney movie that this is totally like John Carter. This is like John Carter, if anyone's ever seen it. That damn little trinkety device. I got two kids, that's why I know this Disney shit. So you got this trinkety device that renders you unconscious and then prints you on another planet. Ren Ren is John Carter. That's a wonderful visual analogy. So that's exactly what it is. Tokenized representation. Um, Kel in the house, all the best from Norway. I appreciate what you do for all of us, both on Twitter and here on the YouTube. My man, I thank you. I love your ideas. I love the thoughts. I love the perspective. And this is why I come up with the ideas and thoughts and topics that I have for these shows because of the Twitter comments. The more Twitter comments you guys hit me with, the more YouTube comments. Get it on Twitter. Let's get the commentary back and forth, and that's how we have great content for these types of YouTube streams. Wilkie, Virginia in the house. I'm Florida. I know the captain's from Florida. Yeah. Yeah, nice little community going here. I like this. F2.0 public testnet launched today. Yes, love it. So what is F2.0? It's the same thing. It's going to be validators. I don't know about I don't really know all the details. I don't look too much into the details. I'm more of a macro kind of guy. But I'm inclined to think F2.0 is going to be something comparable to the other protocols. But bear in mind, what's cool about Polkadot and Cosmos is the Polkadot has the parachains and Cosmos has the hubs. So these are networks of blockchains. Blockchain of blockchains, whereas Ethereum is a blockchain. So they have different purposes, but the whole point is interoperability, and that's what Ren is. So you have different blockchains that do different things, but they could work together. Now you can imagine a giant DEX that handles all UTXOs, all ERC20s, all 721s, and has Cosmos assets, has Polkadot assets, has Cardano assets when they eventually get built, EOS. Whatever, uh, whatever, whatever ecosystem you could think of. Off the top of my head, there's a lot, and there's a lot dating back to 2017 that never really got off the ground. Did you buy the Just Nibble? Alabama in the house. It's new. It's United States, baby. What a crazy country we live in. It's a small world. So it's a pleasure to have everyone here. Anything interesting in Twitter? You know what? I get a kick out of this when it happens. I write a post, and then Bancor literally responds like, "Hey, Bancor, my man, you guys are doing good stuff. Love you from back in 2017. Good stuff." Someone posted about XVG. Now, so I have 2 minutes. So UTXO assets are a bit tricky to get a sense of right now. With all this fire going on, is straight up ERC20s and the Ethereum ecosystem with DeFi. But UTXOs, I mean, then again, this is a pretty epic, massive pump. How big is that? Okay, that was a 500% rip by Digibyte. So UTXOs, we'll see what happens. I mean, Digibyte could easily rip 1,000%. What would be that? Be 2,500 Sats? Does that seem like a big Sat value? Oh, I think Digibyte is very undervalued. But bear in mind, just because I think it's undervalued doesn't mean it'll ever achieve the valuation that I wanted to achieve. So this is the type of asset, and that goes into risk reward and position sizing. You know, I follow all the activity, meaning I'm going to put my value where the activity is. And right now the activity is in DeFi, and to me, I see the most potential in Bancor and Kyber. I've reduced my Kyber position because this is basically flatlining for a period of time. I don't see a lot of fire. I see this is incredible for the DAO. This is incredible to have like a 5,000 KNC stake position. You throw it in the DAO and you just forget about it. And then in the meantime, Bancor is going to rip the 500% to the upside. Let's take a look. Let's drop it down to the 15 and see how our breakout's doing. Here, look what's happening. Look, the averages, the red lines are going to push up to about resistance, and this will come down and bounce off resistance. So this is a perfect example of a resistance flip support. Beautiful chart. Beautiful, beautiful chart. I love it. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. That's the way it goes. 12:30 on a Tuesday, August 4th. Always a pleasure. My favorite 30 minutes of the day. Hit me up on Twitter. What do you guys have on your mind? What do you want me to talk about? I'll rehash anything. I'll talk about anything. I love this stuff. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.